Oppenheimer is under 4 months away from releasing in theatres worldwide, and after already getting a tense teaser and 2 fascinating main trailers back in December, it's approaching the timeframe where we can expect to see the marketing campaign heat up even further. In particular, there's an almost guaranteed timeframe in which we will likely see that next full-length trailer, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing exactly that and what we might expect to see in the new footage. Alongside this, there has also been a somewhat confirmation of the film being 3 hours long from both insiders and cast members. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date with any of my content surrounding Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, including the start of my Road to Oppenheimer series very soon, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. But without further ado, let's dive into the potential date for the next Oppenheimer trailer, footage predictions, and the 3-hour runtime. So starting with the new updates on Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, in recent days, we've heard that the director's new film has a potential running time confirmation from multiple sources. Matt Belloni of Puck Films stated last week that unless there is a last-minute edit, Nolan's new film will be around 3 hours in length and the longest of his career. He also added that there's a rumour going around in IMAX projection circles that Oppenheimer will require a new platter that's even longer than Interstellar. Now, you may be saying that we've had plenty of 3-hour movies over the last few years, and this isn't too much of a big deal. And while I'd agree with that statement in that every movie has a different runtime, and that runtime is only important when it comes to it being the correct one for the story presented on screen, there is a major technological breakthrough with this news, and one that film enthusiasts will love to hear. Before Oppenheimer, a 3-hour runtime for a 15x70mm IMAX platter was way too long to sustain, and in order to make a 3-hour film work, you'd have to do something technologically unprecedented when it comes to the presentation. While I don't currently know how Nolan has been able to pull this off if the film does sit around the 3-hour mark, a recent YouTube video showcasing the BFI's projector in London includes a projectionist discussing that they could use special extenders to existing platters, and that might be what Nolan and co are doing with Oppenheimer's presentation. I could be wrong, and maybe they'll cut the prints in half and have a break in between the film or something, but I think extending the platters is probably more likely. Whatever route they do take, with the film heavily rumoured to be 3 hours long, I will say that this also seems like the perfect length for the story. I'm currently halfway through reading the book that Oppenheimer is based on, and there's so much that it details in spanning the 45 years of Oppenheimer's life, from his first days in Cambridge right up until his death in 1967. There's so much to cover, and in my opinion, it seems like the perfect runtime for this particular story. Now, if you think this news is untrustworthy because it only came from one source, well, yesterday, Matt Damon was taking interviews for his new movie with Ben Affleck, and on the red carpet, he talked a little bit more about Christopher Nolan's upcoming biopic film. He said, "It's fantastic. It's 3 hours. Cillian Murphy is everything you'd want him to be. He is phenomenal. I'm shocked that it is 3 hours. I asked Chris Nolan after how long it was because I didn't think it was. I was shocked to learn it was 3 hours. It goes so fast, it's great. I'm really looking forward to it." So with that runtime news coming from the actor himself, who's set to play Leslie Groves in the movie, it looks like Oppenheimer is all but confirmed to lock in a runtime of around that marker. We'll have to see, and again, it'll be interesting to learn about how Nolan will make history when it comes to extending the platters used for an IMAX film so that Oppenheimer can be the 3 hours that it was intended to be. Moving on to the likely date of the next Oppenheimer trailer, I thought I'd begin to discuss this because it's been a while since we last saw footage from the film. Back in December, we got 2 trailers, one that was released online and a slightly different version released in IMAX theatres in front of Avatar: The Way of Water. The question now is, when will we see the next one and what could it contain? Well, starting with the potential date, there is a time frame that I think is almost guaranteed when it comes to when we will get that new footage. Now, if you've paid attention to Nolan's trailer schedule in the many years since the Dark Knight trilogy, all of his films released in July since 2008 have had their second full-length trailers put online in May, 2 months before the film premieres. On top of that, they've typically shown these trailers in front of another film by the same studio. Of course, this is the first film Nolan is making under the studio Universal Pictures, and previously his films were distributed by either Warner Brothers or Paramount. So that leads us to focus on 3 upcoming Universal films that this trailer might be shown in front of. The first 2 candidates are Renfield and the Super Mario Bros. Movie releasing this April. Now, I don't think they'll show it in front of these movies because it's still a month out of that typical May release date for a Christopher Nolan second trailer. But the one film that is coming out in May that is a Universal Pictures film is probably one of their biggest releases in 2023, and that is Fast and Furious 10. This is likely to be one of Universal's highest grossing films of the year, and it comes out on the 19th of May in both the US and the UK. So with that being the big Universal Pictures release in May, all around the time frame that a second trailer comes out for a Nolan July release, it makes sense that this is when we'll see that next footage. On top of that, it'll put a lot of eyes on the project and to be a great place to market in front of a worldwide audience. I'm guessing we'll see other stuff come out before and during that May to July timeframe too, whether it be new images and details from Empire magazine, multiple TV spots, and new posters. But yes, May 19th or around the same release week of Fast and Furious 10 does look like the target for the next online trailer launch. So with that being the likely date, the question now turns to what might we see when it comes to the new footage. Of course, the early trailers that we've seen have focused a lot on Cillian Murphy's performance as Oppenheimer, the development of the atomic bomb during the Manhattan Project, and brief shots of the black and white IMAX court hearings that took place after the Trinity test. Because there's more black and white in the IMAX version, which was exclusively played in theatres, I think we'll start to see more of this in the next online trailer, because Robert Downey Jr., one of the big selling points when it comes to the cast, has a lot of screen time during that part of the narrative. I think as a whole, we're going to get portions of footage from each section of Oppenheimer's life, whether it be his early life at Cambridge, his teachings at Berkeley, his time on the Manhattan Project, and then the stressful trials that followed. The book that the movie is based on, American Prometheus, dedicates a part to each stage of his life, and with the film set to cover a lot of that, I think they'd want to show different aspects of it to really give the average viewer a sense of the scale and story involved. In doing this, it will also allow us to see more of the extended cast, which again is a huge selling point for the film. While we've had looks at Cillian Murphy in the main trailer and further shots of Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, and Josh Peck in the IMAX version, my guess would be that the next footage would give us a lot more of them and also show us looks at the other supporting cast members yet to be seen, whether it be Florence Pugh, Gary Oldman, Rami Malek, or so on. I'm sure we'll further see extended clips of the atomic bomb scene, but like in the initial trailers, Nolan will obviously want to keep a lot of that under wraps so that we as a collective audience can experience it for the first time in theatres when the movie releases. But overall, this trailer can act as a great chance to really sell the movie both through Oppenheimer's intriguing storyline and the extended cast involved, and I expect it to really focus on all of that so that the already high anticipation for the film grows even more leading into the movie's release this July. But that was my video discussing the potential release date for the next Oppenheimer trailer. I'm interested to see what we'll get in the next piece of marketing, which again I'm guessing we'll see around May, and alongside many iconic moments from the book being likely shown or teased, for me it's a perfect opportunity to showcase more of the extended cast. Regardless of what we do see, like Nolan's extended body of work, I expect it to look visually spectacular and show off the new black and white IMAX images that were used in filming. Christopher Nolan is one of the best today when it comes to big screen presentation, and he's a master at combining scale and storytelling intrigue in a big way, so I hope that we'll get an even greater sense of that in the new footage. But let me know whether you're excited to see the new trailer when it releases, and what do you think we'll see when we eventually get it. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, so let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. For much more videos and news on Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.